Peace, 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 peace. Welcome back to another episode of the Mixed Metals Podcast. I'm your host, Daquan Bynum. Um, I want this episode to kind of be a recap of, I guess, the summer, as far as sports and the Olympics mainly. Um, thoroughly enjoyed the Olympics. I'm very sad that it's over with. Uh, we had some, amazing, truly amazing games, in basketball and gymnastics and swimming and I mean just all over the map. And the US did finally pull away since I think the last episode. Um they finally did pull away as far as the total medal count. Um a lot of people have been saying, especially recently, that all we care about is gold. While the gold is nice, I mean, people being able to say that they have a medal in the Olympics, being one of the top three to have finished in whatever event it was, is, I mean, that's an honor. You playing against like world teams, not just, you're not just playing, you're not playing in the YMCA, you're not playing against local talent, you're not playing against college teams, you're not playing against anybody like domestically, you playing like against like worldwide teams, and for you to be able to walk away with a piece of hardware from the games, I think is special. So I think that was kind of unfair. I think that's an unfair take as far as the, I guess, the color of the medals, if you can say that. um so uh I don't know if I said it already. Total count, USA ended with 126, China ended with 91, and Great Britain ended with 65. Gold, I believe I heard that this was the first time that two countries have tied for the total gold medal count. Um, and that was the US and China at 40 apiece. US had 44 silver to China's 27, and US had 42 bronze to Great Britain's 29. Um, just overall, my favorite summer Olympic sport, besides basketball, obviously, to watch is fencing. I'm kind of sad that it was, I guess, in the first half of the Olympics, versus just kind of being spread out throughout. Um, I enjoyed the track and field as well. Seeing the U.S., I mean, dominate in that, men's and women's. Um, but this time around, basketball was definitely the premier event, I would say, uh, on both sides. This was also the first time that uh, the gold medal game was between the same two countries, on both sides. The U.S. played France for the men's gold medal Saturday, and for the women's gold medal on Sunday. And that was listed as the final event of the Olympics, but I guess I don't know how they say that with the marathon going on kind of at the same time. So the marathon was technically the last event, um, the latest end to an event, I guess you could say. Um, and I'm not really sure who came away with that. I wasn't. The basketball game had me on the edge of my seat the whole time, and that was, I mean, my emotions was all over the place with that game. Um, I I don't understand the rotations that went on. And of course, I'm not a coach, just Monday morning quarterback type stuff. But I don't. They, in my opinion, it didn't seem like they could do anything that like France could do anything with Brittany Griner in that first half, and she didn't play much second half. Um, Jackie was in foul trouble, and I don't know if she played like if she was playing as sparingly as maybe she should have, knowing how important she was to the team. I'm just glad that that we came away with the dub, a 1 point victory just based off France's uh last shot attempt being her the shooter being having her foot on the line. So she made the shot, but it kind of is two. Uh, but I mean, just a wild event. To me, this only on the men's side, it only just further cemented my opinion as LeBron being the greatest basketball player to ever live. I just think that the way that he is able to adapt, the way that he is able to still take over at this age, I think uh I mean just think about the do you think that you would have ever seen Michael Jordan at 39 uh go to the Olympic team to sign up to be in the Olympics? I just think that just the longevity, the accolades, the skill, the basketball mind. I mean, I just don't think that we've had this combination of this many things in one basketball player ever. And will that be, surpassed? They say records are meant to be broken. So we'll see. But I don't know if that'll happen in my lifetime. Um, and I do plan on living for a long time, forever, to be honest. Uh, but we'll see. We'll see if that takes place. I don't see it happening. Uh, Wemby will be a problem. I do think that Wemby will be a problem. As long as he can stay healthy. And it seems that, and I don't want to jinx it, but it does seem that that's gonna be the case. He is just because I think that if a major injury, I don't want to say major, but if a significant injury were to take place, it would have taken place by now. Not to say that he's not gonna get dinged up, moving forward, but I think that he takes pretty good care of his body. Now he is young; he just turned 20, um, not too long ago, so there is that. But I just think that he'll be able to sustain, because there's like nothing that you could really do with Wemby. He doesn't have to like you if you body him, you're like his arms are just like I mean you just can't do nothing with his reach. Um and I think that he'll guard a lot on the perimeter over the course of his career. Uh and I think that is also going to be a problem for whoever is on offense in that case and whoever's on defense. It's just nothing you can do with those long arms. So I think he's going to be a problem for a long time. But I mean, he will like be a hell of a scorer. You just it's impossible to forecast anybody that will come close to LeBron's 40,000 point mark. And considering that it was already held, I mean, the record that he broke was held for all of my life. So I just it will be a long time. I think the next closest like active player is KD, and KD is going into his 16th season, I believe. So I mean it's just it's far fetched, but I guess anything is possible. I would have never thought that we would see Kareem's record be broken. So there is that. I want to talk about two things. I want to talk about the breakdancing in the Olympics, and I want to talk about Jordan Childs. Now that I know that was kind of what I was waiting on to record this episode, I was waiting for the, I guess, final decision um, as far as what she like, what they were gonna do in regards to her keeping her medal or not. Um, okay, so sorry about that. I believe I was talking about the breakdancing and Jordan Childs. So breakdancing is already it had already been decided even before um these Paris Olympics had started that breakdancing wouldn't be a part of the LA Olympics in 2028. I think that is completely unfair. mixed results, obviously, with the viewership of the breakdancing event in the Olympics anyway. But I think that for it to have been his debut, and you don't give him a chance to even appear at the next Olympics even before it debuts, I think that that is insane. Um, and uh, I saw a couple articles. One article was saying that uh, everything doesn't have to be an Olympic sport. That's true, but I mean, we got archery, we got shooting, um, we got we already had basketball. Think about this. We already had basketball 5-on-5, but they added 3-on-3 basketball to it. So I don't want to hear that everything doesn't have to be an Olympic sport. That's no different to me than like if during the All-Star game they did one-on-ones or two-on-twos or something like that. Like it's just adding basketball. Like that makes no sense to me. And um some articles that I read were just saying that it in general wasn't a sport. When I mean, then with that statement, I think we gotta dig deep and constitute what is a sport in general. I think that sports, in my opinion, without reading a definition, I think a sport is a competitive event between two or more parties. It can be one person, it could be teams. Um, and I think that it is like the goal with both teams having the goal of beating the other. So I mean, breakdancing itself was always competitive. That's what kind of brings the energy um to the the live events and those kind of things. Anyway, I don't I think that I mean, I don't like what makes swimming a sport if that's the case. And I'm not trying to pick on just swimming, but what makes diving a sport, and what makes archery a sport? What makes any of those sports if breakdancing isn't considered a sport? It takes so much athleticism. It takes um ability. It takes technical skill. It takes I mean, just it takes endurance. It takes so many different things that other sports also take in order to be successful, and for it to just not even be considered. I think that's completely unfair. Is now there was some controversy, I guess you could say, with some of the dancers. There was, I think, the Australian lady who was just out there kind of making a mockery of the event. Now I do understand that, and I can understand, hey, she's not allowed at the next event. I don't care what she does in the meantime. I don't care how many competitions she wins in the meantime or anything like that. If that's what you're gonna bring on the world stage, then we not we don't deal in that kind of foolishness. So I can understand that, but I think, I mean, especially in LA, I mean, dancing is such a it's such a cultural. They had so many cultural ties. Um, and of course, obviously, all the athletes aren't coming from LA, but I just think that is the venue to have between LA and New York. Those are the venues to have breakdance be Olympic events. I think that it brings more eyes to it. I think that dancing um is a form of, it's an art form. I think that it's a form of self-expression. I think that it is uh a stress reliever. I mean, people enjoy seeing people dance. It's just, I don't know. I think that is premature. I think it is premature for them to have just axed it before it even really got a chance. And of course, they can go back and look at small examples and say, well, this is what we wanted to prevent. But they can also look at other examples and see the happiness of the gold medal winners, and that could be the opposite argument. So I don't understand it, but and hopefully it gets reconsidered. Hopefully it's not final. I mean, we got 4 years until um the LA Olympics, which I hope to be at. Um, inshallah, I pray to be able to. My wife and I pray that we are able to attend the next Olympics. You just don't know when the next time it'll be in the States. Um, and now I want to talk about Jordan Childs. So Jordan Childs, I want to make sure that I read that I have it correct. Pardon me, pardon me. Gonna be a lot of articles that want me to pay for them. Okay, we're gonna try MSN. Okay, so Jordan Childs, um, initially she was in the was it rhythmic event? Okay, I'm not sure what the event was, but I just know that the coach of Childs uh kind of protested the initial score that Childs got. She had initially finished fifth with a score of 13.666. Uh, but after the coach pointed out a that more difficulty points should have been awarded, she got point 100 of a point, and that upped her score to 13.766, which earned her the bronze medal. Um, and it was later challenged that her coach didn't come forward with the inquiry in time, which you have a minute after the score is announced to air out any grievances that you have. And they said that she went up there, I think, 64 seconds later versus it being 60 seconds later. So there was another inquiry over the girl whose spot she kind of overtook, whose spot Childs overtook, and they inquired that she didn't do it in the appropriate amount of time, so they ruled in her favor. Uh, and then later on, the U.S. submitted another form of evidence where they had proof that it was only 47 seconds after the initial score, which would have been within the guidelines, and it is not able to be reviewed. So, and Jordan Childs is required to return her medal. Um, I think that's like you getting the wrong order on for like let's say it's $1,000 table, and they sent you ordered a steel gray table, but they send you a white one, and they say, okay, we made a mistake. We will take that table back, and we want you to pay us also for the other table, instead of just replacing it or giving, instead of which, it can be a moral thing where it's the right thing to do or wrong thing to do. But I just think that how do you how do you charge somebody else for your mistake? I don't understand why she is being punished for their mistake. And if I was her, not only would I not return my medal, but there would be no chance that I would compete in that country again. There would be no I wouldn't even necessarily want to visit. I would have had my fill in this Olympics. We were here for about 2 weeks. That's enough for me. And it's just me personally. But if I were Jordan, and I think she did a smart thing. She decided to take a bit of a hiatus off of social media just to deal with her mental health because it's gonna be where there are people that are probably supporting her, and I would hope that there are more people supporting her than there are like bashing her or anything like that. But there will be people bashing her. It's just human nature. That's just how the world works. Um, one of the main reasons I don't have social media, I don't want to participate in just is just such an unnecessary like it's not of substance. None of that stuff is of substance to me. So I just stay away from it in general. And I respect her decision to stay away from whatever critiques could come her way and in this because it's just why were they able to appeal the decision at all if a decision would be made to where is strictly we're taking her medal and that's it. But the US doesn't get a chance to give their side when it was already established that you made a mistake, that you didn't give her the proper score in the first place to so to then take her points away that you were supposed to have given her initially that you didn't give her that we had to protest to in order for you to give her and then for you to take it right back. I think that is goofy, that is stupid, and I don't understand how anybody would that's not you're not making yourself respectable. You don't have a good ground to stand on if that's your way of operating. If anybody could just say anything and just change your mind about anything, then I can't trust that you are, an institution that I should believe in. So I think that she should keep her medal. I think that if it's an issue at all, that they should give the other young lady a medal as well. Just make it even. I don't understand why, because there are ties and they got ties in sports all the time. I've seen plenty of people get ties in swimming that I didn't even know was a thing. But I mean, I guess it does make sense technically because people can finish at the same time in racing events, but I just had never seen it to my knowledge, or I just never paid attention to it. Uh, so I mean, if those two people can also get a medal for the same event, that I don't understand why, especially off of your mistake. Again, I'm gonna keep reiterating off of your mistake. I don't understand why it's fair for me to have to pay for your mistake. That just doesn't make sense. And I stand with Jordan on that. Um, again, I hope she don't give that medal back. And I hope that that there's a an organization over the IOC that can decide, like, yo, this is wrong. Like that girl shouldn't have to give her medal back because of y'all fucking up. All right. Um, moving on to baseball. Again, to know me is to know that I'm a Cardinals fan, and we are losing as we speak. I think it's seventh inning. Um, score is 4-1. End of the seventh. So going into the eighth, it's not looking good, and I hate the Reds. We are losing to the Reds, the 58-61 Reds. My Cardinals are 60-59. After digging ourselves in a hole, in a huge hole, um, and climbing back out of it. I think we were down. We were 11 games under 500, and climbed right back out just to kind of climb or just to stay level, I guess. I don't like that very much, but it is what it is. Um, the Braves play the Giants at 9:45. The Braves are 62-56. Let's see what the standings are for the league. It's not looking good. So we are 7 games behind the Diamondbacks for what appears to be the wild card. Um, So that is, I mean, it's not looking good at all. We are 10 games behind the Dodgers, which, I mean, you got time until you don't in baseball. They play so many games, but It's October be here before you know it. So I hope that they're able to turn it around and kind of get a couple like easy wins, if you will, under their belts and take it from there. Take it one game at a time. Um, you can't win but one game at a time, so it is what it is. The preseason has started in football. We have had some. I would say all the rookies have pretty much done what they were expected to do in limited form. Caleb threw for 95 yards. It doesn't have here listed. In their last game, they beat the Bills 33-6. Um, threw a very smart pass to DeAndre Swift, who got 42 yards off of it. He only had one reception for the whole game. Um, Caleb made some smart decisions. I'm not putting a lot of all my stock into Caleb this season. I don't think that he is like the second coming, like some people do in the media. Um, I think he'll be decent, especially this first season. But I do think that there will be growing pains. Um, Jordan Love threw for. I know he threw a touchdown. I don't know what his. Let's see what his 2 for 2 for 63 yards with one touchdown. Um, and that's expected. The low attempt count because it's the preseason. It's the first preseason game at that. So not expecting for the starters to play a whole bunch. Um, Hollywood Brown will apparently miss some time. He dislocated a clavicle. Maybe a couple weeks we looking at. But the good thing about that is we still have a couple more weeks until the season officially starts. So good for them. Even though I'm not a Chiefs fan, I'm probably the polar opposite of a Chiefs fan. Uh, Cowboys and the Rams. Um, Stetson Bennett threw 4 picks. And I know it's the preseason, so hopefully he's getting all his picks out of the way now. But and he probably won't be playing much this season. Let me say that. But if he's gonna be their quarterback in the future, 4 picks is a little concerning. Um, Bo Nix had a pretty strong start, 125 yards, one touchdown. They beat the Colts. Saints beat the Cardinals. Seahawks beat the Chargers. Not really expecting much from the Chargers yet. I know Jim Harbaugh is working on something out there. Jags beat the Chiefs, if I didn't say that. Um, Titans beat my 49ers. Josh Dobbs ended up playing, who I didn't even know the 49ers had. So there's that. Brandon Allen, 7 for 13 for 98 yards, no touchdowns. Josh Dobbs, 14 for 20, 146 yards, one pick. They had a combined average rating of 73.3, which is terrible. Um, Michael Penix threw 404 yards for the Falcons. Texans beat the Steelers. CJ Stroud did throw a touchdown. The Ravens, who pride themselves as winners of the preseason, um, they lost to the Eagles 16-13. Jets beat the Commanders 20-17. And let's see what we got coming up. So Philly plays New England this Thursday. Uh Atlanta plays Baltimore, Cincinnati at Chicago, New York at Houston, New York Giants, Detroit at Kansas City, Minnesota at Cleveland, Seattle at Tennessee, Arizona at Indy, Washington at Miami, Buffalo at Pittsburgh, New York at Carolina, New York Jets, um, LA at LA, um, Tampa at Jacksonville, and Dallas at Vegas. And then Sunday we got Green Bay at Denver and New Orleans at San Francisco. Um, Again, not expecting too much. I know that they kind of amp up the snap count as the preseason goes, especially with it being 3 weeks now, which may be 2 weeks coming soon. Um, so I expect a little more playing time from the starters, but not too much. I guess my focus will be on next week, seeing who plays and who doesn't. Uh, I believe the rankings came out for the AP poll. So AP top 25 are as follows: Georgia at number one, 46 first place votes. Ohio State number two, 15 first place votes. Oregon number three with one first place vote. The rest of the teams that I list do not have a first place vote. Texas at four, Alabama at five, Ole Miss at six, Notre Dame at seven, Penn State at eight, Michigan at nine. I think that's a little high. Florida State at 10. I think that's a little high. Missouri at 11, Utah at 12. We'll see. LSU at 13, Clemson at 14. We'll see. Tennessee at 15. We'll see. Oklahoma at 16. Oklahoma State at 17. That's interesting. Kansas State at 18. Miami at 19. Texas A&M at 20. 21 is Arizona. 22 is Kansas, which is wow. Kansas and Kansas State being ranked in the preseason is interesting. I don't know if that has happened in a while, unless it maybe happened like in the last couple seasons. USC at 23, I think that's really high for them. NC State at 24, Iowa at 25. Um, of course, I'm biased, so I'm gonna say that I think that Alabama will shock a lot of people. Um, I think that that five is just because Nick Saban is no longer the coach. I think that they could be at least number three. Um, but I think that they're gonna shake up a lot of stuff here this season. Hoping that we beat Georgia. Uh, I like a lot of teams, so I like Texas. I like Ohio State. I like Oklahoma. I like Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech will never be ranked. Um, but I think that I think USC is in for a long season. Southern California, not South Carolina. Um, Notre Dame, in my opinion, if Notre Dame is ranked at all, they are overrated. Interested to see what Penn State does. Very interested to see what Michigan does. You know, coming after the national championship, Jim Harbaugh leaving, shake up in the in the quarterback room. I'm just that's an intriguing storyline for the season. Um, Clemson, we will see what happens. I think their first game is against Georgia, so I mean that's gonna separate the men from the boys early. Um, mm, Nothing else really of note. Um, Florida State being ranked number 10. I can understand it. I can understand it, but I'm still curious, how they're gonna look after this undefeated season that they just had. Um, we'll see what happens with that. Uh, in music, Benny the Butcher put out I don't want to call it an album. I guess like it's an old school street album, street type album for the streets type album. Um, I think that is really good. I think that he's back to, rapping how he was when I found him. And that's always a good thing. I think that his Def Jam debut was a bit of a misstep. But I think he's back on track. I'm hoping that moving forward, this is how he raps. Like it sounds like old Griselda. Speaking of Griselda, West Side Gun is back promoting his next project. Fly God is Awesome God 3. Fly God is Awesome God 1 and 2 were excellent. I love part 2. I want to say that was my first full project that I listened to of West Side. Between that and Pray for Paris. and I love both of those. So I mean, either way. But I'm excited about that. Uh, really looking forward to whenever Stove God is gonna finally drop his Griselda debut, or I don't know what his label situation is, but I'm interested to see what goes on with that. Um I can't think of anything else. I want to see Borderlands just for the like I kind of want to see how bad it really is. It's been getting nothing but terrible reviews. Um I think I'm gonna wait for it to come to Blu-ray. But it's been getting threes out of 10 all across the board. It's just, it's a money grab, I guess. And Randy Pitchford, the CEO, I think, of Gearbox, or whatever his position is not the a crowd favorite. So that probably has something to do with it as well. And he's already trying to tease his way out of the mess that he's in with the movie by talking about Borderlands 4. So the game. So we'll see what uh happens with that. Um Other than that, I believe we are done for the day. I will hopefully see you all again later this week. Um Planning on doing getting back to my 2 a week, and then eventually to 3 a week. I just gotta be able to find stuff to talk about, find ways to differentiate each episode. Especially in the downtime like this, where there's no like not a lot of sports stuff going on. Um, but until then, until next time, I've enjoyed this. I hope you enjoyed it as well. Peace.